Everybody, hope you had a happy holidays and a happy new year. I wanted to take a few minutes to discuss how to set up a formal exercise routine. When I talk about formal, I don't mean anything leisurely, such as a bike ride, rowing, canoeing, hiking, tennis, anything like that. I'm talking about a more formalized exercise routine where you either work out at home with cardio or weights, or you go to a facility and do the machines or weights there. So you usually typically want to do core after your workout. When I say core is your abs and then also your lower back. Also, your lower back muscles count as your core muscles. You typically want to work these last because these are your stabilizing muscles and they work to stabilize your spinal column while you're performing your exercise movements and while you're doing any kind of physical activity or anything periodically through the day. They always stabilize you. So you want to do those last because you don't want to fatigue those muscles before you have begin an exercise routine. It makes it more difficult for the other muscles to function. Also, you want to do bigger muscles to smaller muscles because your smaller muscles fatigue quicker than your bigger muscles. For instance, if you're doing everything in one day, a full body routine, you would want to do legs and then go up to chest and back and then go to arms. So that's kind of a very simple way to look at it. If you divide it up into like a set where you split it up like a 3-day set or a 4-day split or anything like that, what you want to look at is when you're attacking different muscle groups. So typically how people will do it is they'll do legs one day, they'll do chest, shoulders, and triceps another day. Triceps is the back of the arm, and then they'll back and biceps another day, and the biceps is the front of the arm. And the reason they do that is you can work more of those particular muscles without impacting the others you're giving the other time for the other ones to rest. If you go to the Y or the JCC and you see the machines set up legs to chest to back to arms, that's why they're set up that way. It's just a general rule of thumb to work bigger muscles to smaller muscles because it's the smaller muscles do fatigue faster than the little muscles, so you want to make sure to get the bigger muscles good and worked out before you progress to your next ones. Another rule of thumbs is when you're doing free weights, such as kettlebell, dumbbell, barbell, medicine ball, anything that moves, you want to make sure, one, that you do the same thing, bigger to smaller muscles, but two, you also want to make sure that you have a very good grasp on how to do your free weight movements because you don't want to get injured. There's a greater risk involved in doing free weights. This YouTube channel has been dedicated to the 50 and older population, so there is a little greater risk of doing free weights. They have great benefit because you're getting the stabilizing factor in. What I mean by that is when you're seated in a machine or doing like a chest press, for instance, your shoulders and triceps and rotator cuff muscles don't have to really work to stabilize the muscle because the weight is locked in on the paramount. The paramount is the cable system that moves the stack up and down when you push and then bring back the bar towards your body doing a seated chest press. You're just working the chest. You don't have to work any of those other stabilizing joints. For instance, where you do a dumbbell chest press and you have a weight in each hand and you do a chest press, you have to work your rotator cuff muscles, you have to work your shoulder muscles, and you have to work your tricep muscles to stabilize that weight because it can move now. You have to keep it in line to where you want it to go. A quick little fact, because I talked about rotator cuff muscles, and not everyone knows what rotator cuff muscles are. Your rotator cuff muscles are located in the back of your shoulder. There's 4 of them on each side, and their general function is to work on shoulder stability and maintain the shoulder within the shoulder joint. When working rotator cuff muscles, for instance, if you have any, if you rotator cuff tear, excuse me, or you've had any rotator cuff injuries or any kind of shoulder injuries, it's always good, especially for posture, it's always good to do, I even work in a little rotator cuff work, is to help with posture and then help with or prevent any previous injuries or maintain any or eliminate any shoulder pain that may occur from impingement. And impingement is when a nerve is impinged because of poor posture and the shoulders are rounding forward. So if you do those, you always want to do those last. That's because those are very small muscles, and if you work out your bigger muscles, or you do those before you do bigger muscles like back or chest or anything like that, that can really impact your workout. You're not going to get as good a workout. Also keep in mind when doing machines that machines are a great thing for people that are beginners, or people that have balance issues, or people that are just trying to slowly pick up a workout routine. Machines are great. Free weights are a little better because you get that stabilizing factor, but machines are great. If you do decide to do a split routine, keep in mind that you want to have a day rest in between, at least a day, preferably 2 days rest between any two muscle groups. You never want to work chest or back or legs back to back. Try to have 1 day in between, preferably 2, so you get optimal rest. Remember to stretch after your workout. You always want to stretch 5 to 10 minutes after your workout, upper and lower body. Always make sure to warm up for a good 5 to 10 minutes. It could be on a bike, an elliptical, a treadmill, anything that you feel safe and comfortable, or just prefer warming up on, because you always want to be nice and warmed up when you start. If you feel like 1 day, kind of play with it. If you feel like me, preferably, I work on a 3-day split where I do legs, chest, shoulders, and triceps, and back and biceps. Excuse me. It works better for me to do back and biceps before I do chest, shoulders, and triceps, because I feel if I do chest and shoulders and triceps before I do back, that it kind of affects my workout later on that week. So that's how I do it, but it really is up to you. Just make sure that you get that that day to 2 days rest in between working out. You don't always have to have a day's rest in between working out if you are working out different muscles, but just make sure that you are not overtraining. Resistance bands are always good to use too, for people that are just beginning, or maybe have a osteoporosis, or have very low experience in working out, which is not a bad thing at all. Bands have a great functionality in total. They can do many things, and they can become very useful, especially if you're working out at home. So if you do those, there's not really as many leg workouts you can do with those. There's more like arm and shoulders. So if you do those, just keep in mind you would probably do those more last on your exercise routine. So just to kind of recap, you want to start out with core, 5 to 10 minutes, or I'm sorry, not core. You want to start out 5 to 10 minutes, do a warm up. Then you would go into your, if you're doing a full body workout, you would work legs, then progress to chest and back, and then arms. And then you would finish up with core, and then do some rotator cuff stretching, or rotator cuff stuff, and then finish up with some stretching. And then if you have to ice anything afterwards, a knee or a shoulder, it's always good to do that just in case there's any inflammation, because there's always, for anyone, a little inflammation after workout. If you have any questions, please send me an email. It was great seeing you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.